10 of the Players Perspective podcast. Joined by my colleagues here, Brett and Derek.
What's up?
And let's talk about that rough game that the Ducks just had right now.
That was pretty bad. I mean, I didn't see the first part of the first period, but they got the goal early, but then like the second period hit, and then they just forgot how to hockey. It's just the easiest way to put it.
Derek?
Yeah, I feel like the first period was probably the Ducks' best period out of those three because they just really looked bad in the second period. A lot of turnovers in the defensive zone, even in the first period, and then the third period they just kind of fell apart, especially after that second goal by Brett Pesce. The third goal was a little unfortunate, but after that it was just all downhill for the Ducks, especially at the end when they just weren't really doing much. That 5-on-3 power play that they had in the third period for 1 minute and 16 seconds. They didn't get a single shot on goal. So that was really what did them in, just not executing on special teams and just not getting it done when it counted the most.
Yeah, that power play really killed the Ducks tonight. They didn't really do anything. Also the PK, they were on that a lot too, so that kind of cut in their chance to get back into the game. Also, Kessler took 3 penalties. Getzlaf took 1 or 2, and those two just did not have a good game tonight. Kessler had a few good plays, but overall, Getzlaf was I would say the Ducks one of the Ducks' worst players tonight. He just didn't look like it was clicking tonight for him.
Yep, I gotta agree with you guys there. They went 0 for 5 on power play, so it's pretty bad. And 0 for 4, Carolina went on the power play, which obviously they didn't score, but that took a lot of time out of the Ducks maybe trying to catch up there. I would say the first period, about first half of the first period, the Ducks came out strong, looking fast, playing pretty well, able to get that goal in the first period. And then, honestly, after the first half of the first period, it was just, I think from there, it was just all downhill. First period, having a lot of struggles in the defensive zone during that second half.
Yeah, there was that one point
the first period
where Rowney, Sherwood, and someone else were stuck in the zone for a solid minute and a half, maybe a little bit longer. Like they could not get anything going.
One of the really bad turnovers I saw in the first period was Sprong over by the bench, passed it backwards to a Carolina player, and luckily Lindholm was able to get it, and then he passed it to a Carolina player. So that was
the Ducks passing was
pretty bad.
Even what I noticed tonight was Getzlaf was doing a lot of phantom passes to nobody. I don't know if it's like on the power play, he was expecting where people to go where Raquel usually goes, but no one was there, so he just kind of seemed out of place tonight. Everyone just seemed like they weren't on the same page, and that's kind of unfortunate after them having that great game against Chicago the other day on Wednesday, where the second period they gave it the lead, but they still battled back hard in the third period and basically controlled most of the game against the Blackhawks. Tonight was just a completely different story.
Yeah, the last couple of games it seemed like the Ducks were pretty good with the comebacks here.
Yeah, the Ducks were
especially in Washington. Huge comeback for them.
Yeah, and the Ducks going into this game were 7-1-2 in their last 10 games. I saw that earlier, and that really proves how much this team's gone forward in the right direction since then. But maybe it was just one of those games where it's just everyone's kind of off. It's the opponent you don't normally see, even though you just played them the previous week, or the same week. But it's maybe just one of those games. Carolina was shooting everything they could. Just they found the back of the net on some weird plays, and the Ducks didn't.
Yeah, Brian Hayward was making, was kind of starting to make some excuses that I wasn't really agreeing with. He was starting to say, "Oh, the Ducks look tired, out of energy." Why would they be out of energy? There's no reason for that. They played on Wednesday. I don't know what the reason would be for that. He kept bringing that up.
Maybe
lack of energy. I thought he used the wrong word. He probably should have said lack of intensity or lack of urgency. I don't know if it was
Yeah.
energy
lack
was the
of
right
effort.
word.
Lack of effort. Seemed like,
Yep.
but like there's like the lower lines seemed like they were moving well. Like overall I thought Sprong was playing a fast game. He had a couple chances.
Yeah.
I feel like he should be a bigger part of the power play, especially after like what
Mhm.
his little sample size tonight. He's got a really good shot. But other than that, there was like I would just say like the effort wasn't there from the top couple lines. Like obviously your bottom guys are gonna go hard every night because they want to stay in the lineup. But the top guys just didn't seem to have the same like effort or like intensity tonight.
Yeah, the Ducks just really couldn't get anything going the whole game, it seemed like. Nothing was going right for them, especially, I don't like to blame officials on games, but I don't know, today was a pretty rough game with the officials tonight,
I didn't really notice.
in my eyes.
I just become so used to that over the years of watching the Ducks.
I thought the first goal was kind of iffy, but I knew how it was going to be called.
Yeah, I could see
Uh,
the rule. I could see the reason for the ruling because it was technically Lindholm's
yeah.
trip that pushed Bishop into Gibson, which like I knew it was gonna be a good goal. Like as
Yeah.
soon as like
I knew how it was going to be called, but it was that thing, like, there was nothing Gibby could do there. Like, it
yeah
was just, that's why I was kind of like, oh, come on. And there were a couple, I think Kessler had 3 penalties. I think, honestly,
The
all
what?
3 of them I feel like were kind of soft.
yeah
Especially his first penalty. His first penalty, he had both of his arms in the air and 2 hands on his stick. Where else would he be holding the stick? That was, I think, who was it? Was it Aho that he was apparently called for holding the stick? His stick was just wrapped around Kessler.
yeah.
And then
I don't really know. I didn't.
his
See,
second penalty, did you not see that?
I don't think I saw that one. I saw the first Kessler penalty I saw was the one where he fell back onto
The
Mrazek.
goalie
which
interference one
at least they
was,
called
I
it.
mean, I guess they made the right call because they
At
called
least they
both
call-
of them. So
Yeah, they got Mrazek for the embellishment because Mrazek was outside the goal crease, so like technically it was fair game, and like Kessler was jumping up to try and avoid a shot, and Mrazek moved forward, so like you hits out the back, it gets off. So it's like, in all honesty, they should have just blown the play dead. Maybe like, and no one should have gotten a penalty, but like that's just the way it was. They ended up evening it up.
yeah, and then his third penalty was kind of iffy too. He's trying to look like he's trying to block a shot and just happened to get Aho.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about earlier with Getzloff. Getzloff took a really lazy, dumb penalty with that trip that he had. Just
Yeah,
reckless with his stick.
No look, just behind the back, trying to hit the puck. Doesn't even see Aho there. Just gives up the goal.
He just smacked
yeah.
his legs. Just
Yeah.
there was no need for that.
Yeah. Okay, at the end of the first period, what I really liked was they highlighted Gibson talking to Docton, which I really liked because it shows Gibby's like growing even more as a player. He's taking that leadership role, and because it's Dawson's like 7th game since his first game was on Black Friday, so or tonight was his 8th game, so like he's still learning like Gibby's preferences on shots and like how he likes to play stuff. So it was a good job on Gibson to like use an example and tell him like what to do. So I like that from Gibson. That was a highlight from the night, is the communication between the defenseman and the goaltender.
Yeah, I saw that and right away I love that. That is obviously, as a goalie, you want to have good relationship with all your defensemen,
Yeah.
and like you said, it just showed Gibby's leadership on this team.
Yeah. The
Gibby
defensive
had
the defensive pairings were good tonight. Like I really like the pair of Maher and Dawson. Like they're playing well. So the defensive pairings were good tonight. Overall, it just basically came down to the fact that like the Ducks just weren't all
It's
there
just more
tonight.
of the forwards, honestly.
Yeah. Because
Forwards had a rough night.
the goals that like were given up weren't the defenseman's fault at all. They're just like 2 of them were crazy plays. Obviously, you could argue the
Yeah, and
first
they
one
weren't
that Lindholm
really
got
like
beat, but still, like,
weren't
like
Gibby's
that.
fault and weren't really the defenseman's
Yeah.
fault.
You have a slap that took. You have that weird play that on the first goal. You have like a chop at a puck that gets by Gibson, and then you have one that just bounced up in the air and rolls down Gibby's back.
Yeah.
And then an empty net, obviously, that goes 5-hole and gets you.
Yeah, and Bishop was actually the one that got the two weirder goals.
His first 2 career NHL goals, on top of it too. Ducks just love giving up the first
Actually,
goals to people.
they gave it to Justin Williams, but I thought they said on the broadcast that he didn't touch it, but
Yeah.
they have yet to change it on the NHL app.
The NHL
Yeah,
app is
and,
the last thing that gets updated, though.
Really, just looking at the stats, Carolina had 36 shots. Ducks had 19. That's not.
Carolina also leads the league in shots on goal per game.
I would argue they had a lot of high opportunities today, though. And Gibby, luckily, as he's been doing all season, stood on his head, was able to bail the Ducks out. You gave him a chance to win, and they just
like that's
didn't
all.
do anything with it.
Sometimes it's all you.
It's all you ask from your goaltender.
Yeah, it's just keep us in the game, give us a chance to win. That's all you need. And Gibson's been constantly doing that each and every game. I do think Miller might start the next game though, just to give Gibson a little bit of break, just mental rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, game on Sunday against the New Jersey Devils, who beat the Los Angeles Kings last night 6-3.
Also a team that Miller would know well, being that he used to play in the East for Buffalo for all those years. Granted, it's a different team, but still, they like to look at those little things. So, he's more familiar with their team, their style of play. So, I think Gibson will get the game.
Yeah. The Devils were on, I think they were on a 5-game losing streak.
So, something like that. But it's Vatanen,
7-game losing streak.
Vatanen and Palmieri returning to Anaheim, so that'd be good to see them.
Yeah, Palmieri had 2 goals against the Kings last night, and let me tell you, they were a couple beauties. Absolute snipes from Kyle Palmieri.
Obviously, you have Hart winner, defending Hart trophy, Taylor Hall coming into town too. So it should be an exciting game. Their record doesn't show how good of a team they are. I would say it's more so for them they're figuring out their identity with their goaltending, and they could sharpen up their defense a little bit. But they score goals. They can score goals. That's the thing.
I think it's all goaltending for them. I was listening to NHL Network Radio, and they were saying that the other day, I think Schneider hasn't had a win in a calendar year. Obviously, he was injured in the off season, and injury, and there's the off season and all that. But still, that's a really long time for a goalie that's supposed to be a pretty good goaltender.
Yeah,
he has not found his stride this season at all. But looking at some more stats here, the Ducks had 22 giveaways tonight.
That just goes back to the bad passing. I can count 7 from Getzlaf alone, and half of those are on the power play.
Yeah, I want to point out a little thing that I saw that I mentioned earlier to you guys. I can understand if Getzlaf is not on his one-time side on a regular power play, but on a 5-on-3, you have to have guys on your one-time side. That's ridiculous to not have. You just don't do that. And I don't think you blame that on Randy Carlisle. That's more of the power play coach.
That's
not really the head coach. Because because especially it was Hampus and Getzlaf on the top. Those guys can rip it. And obviously they can make good passes. They don't need to be on their there was no reason for that at all. And that made me really mad. Just a mistake, I think, on the coaching staff's part, or the power play coach.
Yeah.
You look at the good good power plays in the league. You see guys on 5-on-3 like the Tampa Bay Lightning or people like that. It's just looks so good. Everybody has somebody on their one-time side.
Yeah, you really need to have guys on their one-time side. Like the Ducks need to really, I think, change how they kind of do their power play system. I honestly believe that like they should switch more into like a traditional umbrella style, more so than like you definitely need to have Getzoff in the middle of the ice, not just like in his corner, like along the blue line. Like that just opens up so much more because he can pass it to either side or down low, or he can shoot it. It makes the most sense for them to do that. They can run what they're running right now with their other unit, but I think the Getzlaff unit needs to be in that traditional umbrella.
Seems like the power play lines change like every game too.
They do. They're not consistent,
which is not like good, and it shows why another reason why they don't have a good power play. If it's always changing during practice or maybe during the game or whatever. Yeah, like tonight I didn't like. Honestly, I saw Kessler in front of the net on the first power play. Don't know if I like that. On the first power play.
I kind of liked it. I liked it at first, but then I realized that
on the second power play, that's fine. Yeah. I'd rather have
Nick Ritchie
right there. Yeah, on the first. Switch.
Yeah, I didn't know why Ritchie wasn't on the first unit tonight.
Yeah, it was weird because that was right after Kessler came out of the penalty box. So they had Getzoff, Henrique, and Kessler all out there. That's three centers.
Exactly, yeah.
3 centers.
And I know you want to have the thing like, oh, if like somebody gets kicked out, but 3.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you
not
don't
necessary.
Need 3. Yeah, there's just I don't know. Today overall it just seemed like just errors and just not a good game.
It was an off game. Like you're gonna have those eventually. That's why I chopped that. It's like,
yeah.
Like
can't
they could have had
win them all.
a little bit. Yeah, you can't win them all, but you could have showed a little bit more effort, I believe. Like that's the thing. I think they kind of just got discouraged early, and then they just kind of just couldn't recover from it.
Yeah, just momentum. How it always is in hockey. Momentum kills. Momentum is so important.
But anyway, so Ducks obviously lose tonight. That's not good. But they play New Jersey, which we stated earlier. Any other topics you guys want to talk about, or like talk about the game against the Hawks or whatever?
Yeah, the Ducks. They had a 5-game winning streak. And
yeah, they had a 5-game
losing streak was at about 7?
Yeah, I think it was 7.
So I mean,
if
can't
they
be
get
mad. They just basically got all their points back.
Yeah, they were,
which is good. So
like even if they lose this game and go on, and let's say this hypothetically they start another 4-game point streak, they just eliminated their entire 8-game losing streak.
Yeah. And they showed a graphic earlier on the screen about Derek. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. So apparently, in the last 4 seasons, the Ducks are not notorious for starting out well. But yeah, the last 4 seasons, the Ducks, their best start has been 35 points, which is what they're currently at right now. And they also had 35 points in the 2016-17 season. And what's surprising about that is in all of the last 4 seasons, they've made the playoffs quite handily. So in the last 4 seasons, well, not including this season, but the last 3 seasons, they've made the playoffs, and they've made it at quite a large margin, winning the Pacific Division title twice in the last 3 seasons, not including this year. So I think a lot of people do focus too much on the Ducks starting slow, especially because they're a team that tends to get hot right around the All-Star break. And I think it's, especially with all the injuries that the Ducks usually have early on in the season, it's just really a positive to see how well they're still doing, especially with the Pacific being so wide open as it is this year. So I think people just need to kind of hold their horses a little bit, and just kind of take a deep breath and look at how well the team has been playing. I know tonight was not a great performance, and the Fire Carlisle bandwagon is up and rocking again. But the Ducks are actually fine right now. They're looking solid.
Yeah, so to build off that, like the Ducks have always started slow. Like even like their start to this season was actually one of their best starts like in franchise history. Or like
Since they won the Stanley Cup.
since they won the Stanley Cup to put it better. But they've never started hot. Like every Ducks fan knows this unless like you literally just became a fan this year. Um or you don't pay attention at all until the playoffs happen. But this whole Fire
Yeah,
Carlisle
basically if
thing, I
you're
feel
a
like,
real Ducks fan. you know.
so well like that's why like the whole Fire Carlisle stuff is so like dumb in my opinion is because they've always started like this. Plus, if they had everybody back and like let's say Comtois never got injured, let's say Perry was never hurt, let's say all those things happen, and you could be looking at a team that could easily be in the top like 5 of the league.
Yep.
Easily. The Ducks were leading the league for like at the start of the season like for a bit. And then like all it takes is a little bit of a streak. Look at Buffalo. They went on a 10-game winning streak and all of a sudden they're like one of the top guns in the NHL right now. So it literally the start never matters. It's how you the start of the season isn't as important as everyone thinks. It's the middle and the end. 2 point. December is like the key time when every team starts to figure out who they are like as an identity. The Ducks, that's when the Ducks usually always get hot is like just before Christmas, just after that time period. And that's when teams usually start to like show their true identity. For example, like at the beginning of the season, it was at one point like Vancouver was in the top spot of the Pacific. Like all these teams who were like not doing good were in the top spot. Like, and
The
now it's
Devils,
like
that
you
we just talked about, I think won their first 4 games, went 4-0 in the start of the season.
yeah,
And now they're
and
now
also
they're-
the Kings were Kings started hot. Now they're last in the league. Sharks
no,
started
the
slow.
Kings were just always bad.
Kings
they were
are
always
just
bad. I thought-
bad. That's why their coach got fired.
Okay, that's
Yeah, they were just always.
The Hurricanes started out hot, and they kind of slowed down a little bit now.
yeah, they're back in the wild card hunt though. Sharks started off extremely slow. Now they're back to being good. Calgary's just been weird, and now all of a sudden they're first.
Every year for Calgary, it just seems like just goaltending, honestly. Just every
Yeah.
time. And looks like their goaltending is finally coming through for a bit here in the first half of the season.
Yeah, Calgary's like the James Neal signing isn't looking like it's the best, and Michael Furland and Dougie Hamilton are doing really good in Carolina right now. So, but what can you? What can you do though? It's part of the game of being a GM, part of the game of being a team trying to like base everything off. So I feel like they're gonna make some trades at the deadline because I feel like they're gonna try to go all in for this playoff run. Pardon me, because I think that they've tried enough things and their patience has been worn thin enough where they might try to make a few moves at the deadline, get that blockbuster trade, try and make up for that James Neal signing that didn't really work out as they thought it would to this point yet. Although he could still like go on a tear. That like you've seen that happen before, where guys just start going on tears.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like Calgary's gonna be buyers come deadline time. And also, right now Carolina are buyers because they struck out on Nylander. So
I can see Carolina being buyers.
They're desperately searching for like a winger they can I read something somewhere that they were looking for a top 6 winger that they could bring in.
Yeah, especially with Jordan Stahl out, like they just need another, like not necessarily another center, just like another forward to fit into the 6.
Well, and Furland's
So-
out for no one knows how long with a concussion.
Yeah, that's
so,
true too.
So they're
Yeah,
buyers.
you never know with concussions.
Yeah. And then I feel like going on the topics of who's buyers and who's sellers, I feel like The Flyers right now are sellers
Oh,
with the whole
definitely for sure.
with the whole shakeup that's going down right now.
Hmm.
I could see them moving someone. I could see them moving Shane Gostisbehere, to be honest with you, because he's kind of been on that weird kind of like not so good as he started out his career. So maybe a change of scenery is coming for him. I'm not sure yet.
I don't know about that. This is what his third year in the league. Like,
His
you
fourth,
don't move someone like that. Like, I don't know.
I
but
don't know.
They do,
He's
but
being
but
they do
pretty.
have
He's had a pretty
Provorov
rough.
though. They got
it's
Ivan
been
Provorov,
a
so
rough
they
time
can't
for
afford
him.
to move
Yeah,
him.
they do have Provorov. They like have good defensive prospects. So like you can afford
That's,
to move him.
And if you gotta think about who
And
like if they could get somebody like pretty good. I mean,
And you gotta think his
yeah.
return value is still pretty high right now because
Hmm.
he's young.
The thing
Or
about
or
Philadelphia, I feel like, is just
or
like
you
they
s- or,
need good goaltending. Like,
or
if they
you
yep.
had
Same
good
with Calgary. Same
goaltending,
thing with Calgary that we
they would
said.
just they would be
Good
so
goaltending.
good if they had good goaltending. Like, everything else
Brian
that Philadelphia has is solid. Like last year in the
Brian
playoffs,
Elliott was on the Flyers.
they could have easily beaten the Penguins if they had good goaltending last year.
Brian Elliott
and
was
their
the
goaltenders need to stay
common there.
healthy too.
Brian Elliott's probably one of the worst playoff goalies in recent history.
Yeah, he's the common denominator there with the Flames and the Flyers, which is kind of funny.
Yep.
Yeah, but or what you're also looking at is then you still have Gosper and then you have the hard choice of like, do I protect him or not? Because now that's starting to be a topic of discussion with Seattle officially being given a team for the 2021 season.
Well, who else on their blue line would you protect besides Provorov at this given moment?
I have no idea because I don't really watch the Flyers.
Like,
They
they
don't
don't
really
really
have,
have
like-
any other good defensemen, so they probably would protect Gostisbehere in that case.
Yeah, I assume. What are some other teams right now that are kind of like in that weird little bubble of like they could make a move or they could hold on to all their assets and be like either or could like be beneficial.
St. Louis needs to do something.
Yep.
Louis
St.
needs to
Louis
do
made
a
all
lot.
these big moves. They traded for Ryan O'Reilly. They got rid of Carter Hutton, brought in Chad Johnson to be the backup. And they had a couple guys coming up, Robert Thomas, Jordan Kyrou. They're supposed to be big factors, and it just hasn't clicked.
Trade-
Oh, Tyler
trade-
Bozak, too.
Trade Jake Allen to the Flyers for Shane Gostisbehere. There, boom, done.
Then the Blues have no
Not bad.
goalie.
Well, that's when you trust your AHL system.
But they don't have anybody. They have Ville
Or you-
Husso, but that's about it.
Or you desperately call Arizona and be like, "Can we please have Aiden Hill?"
Just get Calvin Pickard when they have to put him on waivers.
That's so true.
Calvin Pickard's been on like 5 teams in like the last year.
No, he's been on 4 teams this year. Or hear me out. Scott Darling, he's in the AHL right now.
Oh no, nobody wants him.
Well, maybe it's just Carolina, because who knows? But that's
Nobody
a
wants
big
his
con.
salary.
Okay, no, I'm just listing off potential players here, Derek. Like, if someone's desperate enough, they'll make a call. Let's be honest here. The Ducks at one point had Dan
Yeah.
Ellis and Ray Emery as their goalies.
They signed Brzgalov, so that one year.
And that's the seasons that the Ducks were unsuccessful. Because they were still waiting for
John Gibson.
Gibby.
Yeah, so it's a weird system. Is there any other team that really screams out to you as
I can't think of any right now.
big buyer or big seller? Trying to think. Chicago might sell, to be honest with you.
Chicago probably is gonna. Well,
They already
'cause
did.
They made that trade for
They already made a trade.
Perlini and Strome, so yeah,
Yeah.
they're basically sellers.
Which
Like,
Strome
that
has
trade
actually
really
done
hasn't-
okay.
I like that
yeah,
trade. No,
Stroman's
you got
done well, but
you got
Perlini has not
you got
done anything
Stroman
at
to
all.
Brinkett, who played together in the O, so now like
Yep.
they have chemistry that they can just keep building off of. Um,
And you're hoping they play with Patrick Kane, of course.
and Perlini's a third line guy.
Which
like,
on paper should be a good line.
Really good.
yeah. Montreal,
Yeah, but-
goodbye. To be honest with you, there's something there. They got something there. No one expected them to have anything there, but they got something.
Yeah.
Carey
the thing
Price
is, like,
not good.
what are they gonna like
Just
give
throwing that out
up
there.
though?
Carey
Like,
Price.
I feel like Montreal doesn't really have like future assets
right.
now that they could like give up to get guys.
Well,
Like
well,
I think
yeah,
they're just gonna settle for what they have right now.
their number one prospect is on their second line.
Yeah, so I mean like the prospects they have right now, just like they don't really have anything to give up.
They screwed themselves so hard with Price's contract.
Tomas Tata.
Yeah, that Carey Price contract
He's
just
he's
is
expendable.
gonna look so bad in like 2 years.
It already is bad.
It already is bad.
What do you mean 2 years? It looked bad last year. It looked bad when they signed him to it.
Last year, it wasn't even in last year.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah,
No,
it
this
was.
is the first year.
I remember
This
me
is
and
the
Garrett,
first
me
year.
and Garrett and Brett were talking about it 2
They-
years ago.
They signed him to the
'Cause
extension.
we were talking about the.
This might be the first year of it, but he signed it 2 years ago. Because then it would look bad because he missed basically the entire last season, and he had this big contract coming up, and there was no way for
Yeah.
Montreal to get out of it.
It's just gonna be all bad.
You're paying
Rick
$15 million.
DiPietro.
It's a Rick DiPietro. You're basically giving a goalie $15 million a year, AAV. So
to be injured, to not be good.
you're paying a guy who hasn't been like his top self in a while. To
In
be
like
honest
4
with you.
years.
Like he's
3
been
or 4
on a
years.
steady decline. I'm surprised he. It's just
He's still one of the top-rated goaltenders in the video game.
yeah. That's obvious.
Him and Quick.
Oh god, Quick's gonna be a backup in 3 years.
Maybe less than that.
Cal Peterson's gonna take his job.
Cal Peterson.
Cal Peterson was doing pretty okay. Not gonna lie.
He's not bad.
He was doing okay, but yeah, just honestly, right now the Kings are they're just a mess.
Kovalchuk. Oh my god.
Just contracts, money, just because they don't have good GMs.
They have
Terrible, just GMs. They had Dean Lombardi. They had friggin' Rob Blake. What? Like what? Rob Blake. Everybody thought he's a genius. Oh, you signed Kovalchuk. Yeah. What
Yeah, you
about
signed
now?
a 35-year-old guy who has not played in the NHL for 3 years to a 3-year contract.
You should have gave him like
Boston lucked out on that
dude,
because
at the
Boston
most.
wasn't willing to go the third year.
for 3. Yeah, because they know. Because Boston's smart. They know. I was even talking about that with my dad. I was like, don't go 3. Like, just don't. Just don't. Whoever goes for 3 is going to bite them in the ass. And of course, who does it? The Kings of all people. And I honestly, I wasn't surprised. I was like,
And the
okay,
funniest thing,
because I knew.
The funniest thing about that contract is no movement clause for 2 years.
Oh, jeez.
He can't be traded or sent down to the minors without
And all
his
of his
permission.
shit
Without
was
his
front-loaded.
permission.
And all the shit was front loaded. I knew. I was like, this dude is gonna come in. He's either gonna have an okay season or he's just not gonna be good anymore. And then he's gonna get injured. And they're gonna be stuck with his salary for another 2 years. And so far, half of those have come true. He
Yeah.
hasn't played good, and he's injured. And he was already getting benched Before
And
he got injured.
And put on the fourth line.
Yeah, he played like 5 minutes in the third period or 5 minutes in the game or something.
Basically taking is it Anderson Dolan or Dolan Anderson? He's basically taking a roster spot.
Jared Anderson Dolan.
Yeah, he's basically taking his roster spot.
Just dumb. Yeah, and they still. I like bringing it up every time, Mr. He's gonna win the Hart Trophy, Kopitar. Yeah, okay. How about now? Where's Mr. Hart? Where's Mr. Hart Trophy now? I'm gonna say that it's gonna be an ongoing joke every freaking podcast. They thought this guy was so good, but yeah, 100 points, so good. He could do it all himself. Yeah, what about now, you loser? He's not doing anything.
As you can tell, the subject is very close to Brady's heart.
I don't even
really
think he has
home for him.
20 points. He doesn't even have 20 points. Just bad.
Just bad.
Don't understand how much.
And the
I
Kings
hate
have
all of those people.
It's honestly kind of heartbreaking to watch because the Kings were like almost this dynasty. I'll admit they were a dynasty during those years.
Quit Kopitar.
And now you have one of the oldest rosters in the NHL with all those guys having multi-year contracts and big multi-year contracts. And
they
you also have
long-term
the worst
contracts over there like candy.
And also you have the worst farm system in the league.
Oof, yep, that is correct.
The
farm system is so bad.
Kempe is the only player
that's come out of their farm system.
Yeah.
Last like 3 years.
And that dude's not even good.
Not even the last 3 years. It's like if you want to count like Forbert and like guys like that who are just playing because they literally have no one else on defense. It's really like the last 7 years.
I will continue to say it. Slava Voinov, the thing that happened to him, screwed the Kings. It screwed them so hard. It really did. Let's say he were to come back. Doesn't he have to ask permission or something like that from them?
They have to reinstate him, don't they?
Yes, he is. He's currently applying for reinstatement purposes. The league is not even looking at his case. They're not going to look at his case until the end of the season. That.
Yeah.
But that's a completely separate thing that the NHL has been kind of certain player in Nashville. They've been kind of iffy on the last couple of years. I'm not going to name names. This is a family podcast.
Yeah, okay, but
yeah, honestly, like he honestly was their best defenseman. Screw Drew Doughty, Slavonov was their best defenseman, and I 100% believe in that.
Yeah, he was
at first I was like, oh, they're just making excuses. But then the more I look at it, I'm like, you know what? It was true. He was.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just looking at the standings right now, and so right now in the Pacific, you got Calgary in first place, Anaheim in second place, Vegas in third place. In the Central, you got Nashville, then Colorado, then Winnipeg. Then in the wild card, you got Dallas, San Jose, and then in the Atlantic, you have Tampa Bay, Toronto, and then Buffalo in third place. And then in the Metro, you got Washington, CBJ, then Carolina's in third place after their win tonight. So tonight was a huge win for the Hurricanes. And then in the wild card, you have Montreal 1, Boston 2.
Yeah, stop looking at the standings and pass the puck.
You could have just said something.
And I could tell that you were looking at the standings because you literally just skated straight without doing anything.
See, this is live, folks. We don't tape this. We don't commentate over our gameplay. This is live.
I don't think anyone ever thought this was not live.
Live, raw, and uncut material. just the way we like it.
Pure. This everything you see on this podcast is just pure. It's what we're feeling in the moment, at the moment.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Kings are still last place in the league. That has been confirmed by the NHL.
They've been last place for like the
Yeah,
the entire year.
But I said still.
Yeah.
So like it's just now.
That's so like.
We should start a days since LA has been days since LA's been
Not in last place.
Yeah.
Folks, did you see that?
Okay.
Did you actually see that?
We don't.
Tripped over your stick.
We don't like to break the flow of the conversation and talk about the game. But are you kidding me? Are you?
What a joke!
Are you kidding me?
Freaking joke!
That's the King season right there.
I'm sorry, guys, but I think we're ending it there.
Yeah, like. Yeah, we got nothing else to talk about
I think we're
now.
ending on that. That was just so stupid.
Okay.
Oh my gosh! That's unbelievable.
Any last comments before we abruptly end the stream due to due to that?
Unforeseen reasons. Minus 22 competitive rating too. Oh my. So.
Everything's gone south. We've broken kayfabe. We've
Yeah.
Everything's just gone south. It's turned into a shoot real quick.
We were having a great day, and now it's just all bad. It's all bad.
The
first half of my day was actually amazing, and the second half has been terrible.
Me and Brady had the best start to our day, and then all this stuff happened.
Yeah, then we had a bad game earlier. Then the Ducks didn't play very well, and then this happened. Just not good. To guys that weren't good, just bad game. But yeah, thanks for joining us here at PPP for episode 10. We'll see. We gonna do it on Sunday?
Maybe, possibly. We don't know yet.
Yeah, we'll see. We never know. We don't have a good schedule here, but
everything's live.
we just keep on. It's live, raw, and uncut, as I just stated. And yeah, so we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.